Wait for the lag.
22 minutes late.
Right. First up, welcome Team Lakota to the Granite Zero podcast. I want to apologise for my lateness. I hate being late. It actually genuinely gives me anxiety being late. My youngest has had this wobbly tooth for, I couldn't even tell you when. So this morning she had a meltdown. She's 6. And she had a meltdown because she couldn't clean her teeth because her tooth was hurting. So I got this FaceTime from the missus later on when I was at my regular human job. She was screaming. The kids were screaming. Everyone was screaming. I'm like, I'm at work. Give me a fucking break. Like, get home tonight. And we've been infested by flies because I live next to a field and the farmers have been out spraying. So it stinks of shit and we've got flies everywhere. Yeah, so I've had to smash all that out. And then the youngest was like, I want my tooth to come out. It's like, all right, Daddy will pull it out. I don't want you to pull it out. You're too rough. I was upstairs with her for an hour before we got that tooth out. Tiny little tooth. And then she ended up pulling it out herself. Cheeky little fucker. So,
bit of fishing wire on the back of the car, drive the car away really fast.
So there's a funny story.
Like 100 meters of it, so it takes ages.
Yes, it takes ages.
Like,
so I think it was about 2 years back. My eldest had a wobbly tooth, and she was being a pain in the ass. And my youngest said to her, she went, "If you keep going, I'm going to punch you in the face." And I was like, "Nah, she's not going to do that." She did.
Men.
Full overhand right, knocked her tooth clean out. So that's what you get when you live in the Thompson household.
Sounds fun.
Exactly.
So what we've got here, we've got the tri-services. We've got a Navy, Army, Air Force,
service, mate.
and then we've got
and
then we've got an absolute civvy slut. Leigh the slut.
I knew that was coming.
I've got big thighs to make up for
those thighs, mate. Mate, if I thought I had big thighs. I thought I had big thighs until I saw those. I was like, Jesus.
Lee's to take our diversity card in the team, basically.
Yeah.
Business.
Yeah, that's the only reason he's in. We have to have one civvy, don't we?
Yeah, that's the only reason I get him out. Is because Stu said that's the only reason I was put in the team. So I have to keep getting him out to stake my place in the team.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him the reason. That's our secret. Jesus.
So how was your trip, then, troopers? I saw all the
shit, mate. Hated it.
I pretty much had a hard on every time you guys put a photo up. I'm not jealous. Definitely.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was the one, yeah. That was a great shot to us. No, it was an awesome trip. Like, we're lucky that Andrew's got all his qualifications. Not that necessarily that people use them, but he took us out and around all his, like, all the places he grew up. So all these, like, special places to him, and it was just fucking incredible. Like, really was.
It looked incredible.
But I feel like, we could have done with a few more days, really, because there's so much to see up there. Do you know what I mean? But it was just awesome. I had an absolute top bunch of lads and lasses, and just sent it. Like, it was awesome. Loved it.
It was. We kind of, like, really looked out with the weather as well. Like, we had, like, amazing hot weather one day. Then we had, like, a cloudy, moody sky the next. And then when you lot went and me and Jay stayed for, like, an extra day, it absolutely hammered it down.
Yeah. It
looked great.
Because Sunday was a bit, I mean, I didn't mind it because it was quite a nice break from, like, the blazing hot. But Sunday wasn't amazing. It was like drizzly or whatever. But then it didn't matter where we were going. If anything, we needed that weather for that quarry, didn't we?
Oh, just for the mood.
Yeah.
Just the pure mood.
Do you know what? It's like with the team, like, getting all the people together on the team's one thing, but then, like, having everyone meet up and just getting along with everyone, like no one. Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone just got on with everyone. There was no awkwardness or it was just, yeah, it was awesome.
From what I've seen from your profile and that, it seems like you've got a lot of like-minded people, which I think helps with that sort of thing. It seems like obviously you all love the fucking outdoors, even the civvy with the thighs. But yeah, it just seems like everybody that's part of your little team that seems to be expanding as well, which is fucking epic. It's just brilliant.
Yeah,
like, to see, and you've got the photographers and that go along with you, and they're fucking shit hot as well. It's like, between Team Lakota and old Andrew's fucking profile. No offense, Leigh. It's like the alliest profiles that I've seen. I'm like, can't wait for the next fucking picture to come through. It's fucking epic. I'm only joking, Leigh. Your profile's pretty good as well, mate. It's because you've got the same photographer.
It's Leigh's going to get really upset because he's a civ. He doesn't get back now. No, I mean, I try to like add different people. Ultimately, people that I either was inspired by or like the look of their profile, or people, mainly at the start, people I knew, like obviously Andrew and Tanya and that. But then it's like with Sam, his photography was just amazing. He just seemed like such a good fit, and I was like, well, you know, what's the point? Not that everyone's got to bring something different, but I wanted to have more of an eclectic kind of group of people. So, you know, Andrew brings shooting, Tanya brings fitness, Leigh brings his quads, Sam got photography.
I'm going to go away from this with a complex.
Trying to shrink them thighs down now. Is that all I am to you?
So when you all get together, it's quite good because everybody's different but same mindset. So I think it's an actual team because people bring something different to the table. And again, like loads of brands, you know, they have these ambassadors and it's just push a code and they don't meet up and they don't really do anything. And I actually I don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if I've ever told anyone to repost anything or post anything. Or like there'd be times where like some people might have a couple of days where they don't put anything on the group chat. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not texting. I don't care. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'll text in the group chat if you want, post if you want. If you don't feel inspired to post, don't post. I don't care. Like, it's not about that. It's about trying to create a cool brand and a group of people that want to do cool shit together. That's the main objective. It isn't about selling stuff.
Definitely got that in abundance.
Yeah.
Like.
And that's how I. You know, there's vet brands, there's a dime a dozen. You know, it's all been done before. There's nothing really new. So it's just trying to put your own spin on it. Is what I'm trying to do. And you know, and I could be wrong, but I don't see a lot of other brands all meeting up and doing things. There probably are ones that are. You know, I'm not saying there isn't, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of them at least. And I think that's kind of what I wanted to do is get people together, and it's an excuse to kind of get out and do some cool stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty epic, like. But
I think for me, just to add what Stu sort of said, for like the brand as such. So like me and Sean mentioned this briefly on like the last podcast. We said that like there's loads of t-shirts that all technically the same t-shirt have a different label on them, you know. So the brand, like product itself, is, you know, it's a good product, but it's the same as everyone else's. What sort of inspired me to sort of want to help with the brand is when me and Stu sort of first had a chat. We were like, we want a group of people who will inspire other people to make the most of like their time and to use that to do good, you know, for yourself or for someone else. And I think like the real mix of people that we've got collectively not only sort of like help each other, you know, because I'm inspired by everyone on our team, but I know for a fact that especially since we've put content out from the other weekend, the amount of people who sort of messaged me and been like, trip's amazing, I'm going there. You know, for me that's what it was about more than anything. It was people getting out and doing more and knowing that they don't have to spend like an absolute fortune to do it either, you know. So good.
Yeah.
You do if you want the alley kit.
Yeah.
There's that as well, though, yeah.
That's half the battle, getting the right kit.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
That's why the Rap Reg looks so good.
Cheap as well. Doing it on the cheap, or
Yeah, that. All the kit and no idea. That's lot.
Yeah, don't
Yeah, I
wear
just
black.
wear less
though.
clothes, so it's cheaper.
What'd you say?
I said I just wear clothes, so it's cheaper.
Exactly. I've got those incredibly short shorts.
Hey, to be fair, I'm all.
You pay.
I'm all
Is it
for the
good when
short
you buy
shorts, mate.
those shorts? Do they charge for the inch?
Mate,
Yeah, I get my mum to take them up.
mate, you got to wear short. You know, back when I was growing up, it was all long and baggy and all that. I say horse shit. Gotta wear them high, wear them tight. You know, women can show a little bit of cleavage. Can't you show a little bit of nub? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Get
Nothing
those
wrong
fucking
with that,
quads
mate.
out, Quadzilla. How's the bike ride going? How's the training going for it?
I've actually just come back from a little training ride now.
Did see on your story, stalking.
Yeah, just to be honest, I've since the ride I kind of knew that the ride was going to be postponed, so I took a bit of a back seat on the training. I don't think the other two guys would mind me saying this, like the two guys I'm riding with. I took to cycling quite well, so I was quite quick, and unfortunately that meant that I needed to take a bit of time off because I was much quicker than the other two.
Absolute benchmark.
When I knew it was going to be postponed.
I don't mean to say this, but I am the best. So call me Lance.
Lance
Quad Strong, they should call you, mate.
Yes, that's it. No, and despite what these two think, I don't actually enjoy being like much better than other people. I know that sounds really weird, but
a lot better than other people.
Yeah, just like destroying them. Just end it. Done. No. I spoke about this the other day. I actually have this personality fault that I need to deal with, that I kind of put a lot of effort into whatever I do, and then subconsciously I expect that of other people without realizing it.
To have.
Well, others might not agree with you, because it means that there's I don't like that other people don't put in the same amount of effort. And
I see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah,
I do, because I'm
it's not
of a similar mindset with that sort of thing. Even to the extent with the girls.
I think if you're doing something serious, like obviously like a charity bike ride, if I was to do one, I'd be like, I need to train for this, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you're putting in the hours and it seems like the others aren't, you'd be like, are you taking it as seriously as me? I guess is that where you're coming from, Leigh, on that?
It's a bit of that, but at the same time, it's also, like I said, naturally I took to cycling quite well. Maybe that is because I've trained legs hard for my whole
legs forever.
So, yeah, that's all I do, and then I pump them up to take a photo. No, so I took to it quite quickly, and I didn't realize how much quicker I was than the other two. So that made me feel a bit guilty for the fact that I was so much quicker, and so it put me on the back foot a little bit. Like, I didn't want to continue to get better, because if I'm honest, I enjoy the training side of it too much, and I could go out on my bike most nights and like really enjoy it and get much quicker, much faster, but there's no point. I want to enjoy this with my mates as well.
Yeah, if you're doing it as a team, you want to be same sort of level.
Exactly. I didn't want to turn it into a race, and fortunately, if I am much quicker, I'm going to find it frustrating, and that's not what I wanted it to be about. It's not about me. If this was a personal challenge for me on my own, it'd be completely different, and I'd go after it. But so, in answer to your question, training's just starting back up now because it's postponed. I don't feel comfortable with the fact that people have donated a fair amount of money now. I think we're nearly up to $2,000, and
all the money.
I'm really happy with that. But now that the ride's postponed, it's not going to be till next year, and I don't really feel comfortable having promoted this heavily, not doing anything. So I think maybe all three of us, or maybe just me, depending on how it works out, just doing a similar mileage within the UK in the next month or two, just to like show good faith to everyone who's donated.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
You know, the response has been.
Yeah, I think that's fair play. But I think at the same time, people. I think it's more they're just donate to the charity. You know, I don't
they'll
think
understand with it.
I think you just tell with COVID, mate. Yeah, like people should understand. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think just updated or whatever.
Again, yeah,
We've had a similar thing with the football. So our football's been postponed until next year as well. In fact, we don't even have a date for it next year because they don't know when we can have a crowd in. But the Spurs Legends team have said, look, it's fine. You've got all your deposit and all that shit. That's all sorted. The same with Maidstone United for the stadium. That's all sorted. So if anything, for us, because it's a football match, it's actually a bit of a blessing in a way because we've got another year to help raise more money in theory. So
I see that point of view, but this is where I guess that's fine.
I want to do it now.
I
want to do it now. I want to go to France on my bicycle.
Do you want a penny farthing, mate? Instead, that'd make it well interesting.
That would be even better.
Yes.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Yes.
No
Don't
way
get money on that.
I used to listen to. This was back when I was doing training for the Spartan race back in 2014 that I did. They had their own podcast, and they would get inspiring and motivating individuals on. And they had this one bloke who was a cyclist, and he was trying to beat all these different records. And what he did was he took a Boris bike from London and he rode it the Tour de France route, and he had to try and get it from London to Paris and back before the price went through the roof, because obviously you have to sign it out.
I've seen this.
Mental.
I've seen this.
They don't even have
gears,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
what was that?
They don't have any gears, do they?
No, I think it's just one gear, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, and he said that going up that hill was horrific, but coming down, you just had to just go with no brakes and just hope for the best.
All the best, mate. Whee!
Yeah.
Did he stop training? Because he was getting too good, like Leigh, or how did that work?
I don't know. Probably. Probably he was just too good. He was like, I could win the Tour de France.
Yeah. I think Leigh should have to do it on a penny farthing or a BMX.
BMX
would be ace.
BMX, just to even the playing field for the other cyclists.
Yeah, it's just too good.
And everyone who's sponsored gets a Peggy off him. Hop on the back, mate. Hey,
all you hear is
do that on the way back.
Leigh getting up, takes a piss, and he turns to his mates and goes, "You smell that? That's the smell of excellence."
We used to get 6 people on a BMX and ride home from school. And one ride, so that's my mate's BMX, so he'd ride, you have 2 on the back pegs, 2 on the front pegs, and 1 sitting on the handlebars. And we thought we were really cool, and we were absolutely pounding it down the road and in front of all the girls, and we hit a curb and just went fucking flying. It really hurt, but you can't tell you're in pain, but like we stacked it hard.
It's always good, isn't it? When you try and show off to the chicks and then you stack it is the best.
Oh mate, we thought we were so clever.
Fuck up really badly.
Yeah, but as you get older, you realise that other types of things that chicks just don't give a shit about either.
Yeah.
You don't go, now look at that, there's 6 lads on that BMX. Jesus.
Like,
yeah.
Oh,
in your mind,
these
like, this is impressive. Yeah, and you just look like a
Yeah, I've got a
so
good
Leigh,
one
I
for you,
think
Leigh. I got another one for you, Leigh. Obviously, like you said, you go full throttle when you're training and what have you, and you're the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. But
that's not quite what I said, and I don't want people to think that either.
That is literally what you said.
Let's not fucking put that out there. That is not.
This is what the title of the podcast is going to be: the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. No, but I do get what you're saying, because when I was training for the white collar boxing that I did, I literally put myself into a fight camp where I was eating clean, which is unlike me because I'm a fat fucker. I was eating clean. I was training 2-3 times a day, and I was like proper going for it. I was like, this is a fight for me. Like other people were just doing it for the charity. I wanted to just hurt someone, if I'm honest. And I remember being out the back, and I was doing some skipping before the fight, and I got a text from my brother, and it was my opponent. So I was out warming up, getting ready for this fight, and the bloke I was fighting was actually out in the burger van buying a burger, and I was like, "You fucking cunt!" So I've put all this fucking effort in for these 8 weeks to get into almost peak physical condition. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't fully fit. But I was like, I've put myself through it to put on a good show for the people that have come to watch me, and this cunt's out eating a burger. Prick.
Yeah.
So
Was it embarrassing when you lost?
No, it was embarrassing for him when I knocked him out in the second round. My game plan changed. So I was going to go for a certain combo all the time, which was like an uppercut with an overhand right, sort of Mike Tyson-esque, because I'm short and stocky. And then after I knew that he'd been smashing the burgers in, I thought, well, I'm just going to fucking hit him in the fucking burger maker. I'm just going to keep hitting him in the stomach until he pukes something. And then I ended up just knocking him out. You can look it up on YouTube. You don't have to.
Burger maker.
You don't have
Burger
to. Tommo versus Burger.
I think you should post a link to it. We need to see this fight.
I will. I'll put a link in the bio.
Yeah.
So, how did it come about then, the old Team Lakota? Where did it
So,
were you on a ship?
I wasn't gonna like a big team. I was gonna have first person I asked to like help out was Andrew.
Thank you.
And then so Andrew was on board from pretty much the first week, I think.
Yeah.
And then I asked Tanya because I was like, well, she's female, so you know, friend of mine, I know her, I knew Andrew, so I was like, you know, get someone else on board. And then it was just those two for a while, and then I think I can't actually remember how Kev joined. I asked him, but I can't remember if he messaged me and asked about it, or because I know Kev, I sold him a gun many years ago, so I know I asked him, but I think he showed some interest in it, and I was like, oh mate, because he's just a really awesome dude. So I was like, do you want to join? And he was like, yeah, cool. And then it was just those three for a while, and then you know, the brand starts growing a little bit, and then people are kind of showing interest in it, and it just naturally grew. And I think, was it Jono from Combat Hustle, Andrew, that joined obviously after Kev's wife joined? I think it was, wasn't it? Because I think because he reached out to me. Yeah, because I think it was Jono from Combat Hustle. He reached out to me, and because he wanted to kind of like wind down his brand or whatever, and then so I said to like Andrew and Tanya in the group, it's like, oh, do you guys any issues with, you know, because I didn't know Jono, so I was like, are there any issues or whatever? And they're like, no, it's cool. And I just like was chatting to Jono over about a week, and I was like, yeah, it'd be a great fit, like, you know, same mindset. He's a veteran, like not at that point. I think obviously Tanya and Lindsay aren't veterans, but all the guys were. So then Jono, and it just grew. And then it kind of was like, okay, well, let's make this a team. Let's, you know, do something cool with it. And then, you know, then Leigh, I can't remember how Leigh, I think we just started talking, didn't we, Leigh? I think for me it was what two things that stood out. One, I think I commented on one of your posts because you were like absolutely, when you put an old picture of in the gym, and I was like fair play to get in that shape, because I used to bodybuild, so I know, not to that level, but I knew the commitment. And then we were just chatting about shit, and then I saw his bike ride post, and I was like, that's such a cool thing to do, you know, that's really inspirational. And the thing is, ironically, with with Instagram and charity stuff, initially I because I don't know why, but I always get put off by people that do charity events on Instagram. So I feel like a lot of them, and I know of them, do it for likes. They do it for admiration.
Do it for the gram.
They do it. No, they literally do. They do it for
It's
the
a
wrong
pain in the
reason.
ass. I know.
Ultimately, yeah, and ultimately, if you're raising money for charity, then it doesn't matter really. But I know people do it for the wrong reasons. Not who cares? But I just think it's a bit of a dick move. But with Leigh, you could tell it was legit, and also with Combat Hustle with Jono, he did like mental health kind of awareness, and again, that's something that normally puts me off because I'm like, oh, people just do it because they want attention. But again, speaking with him, it wasn't that way. Like, he's genuine.
Yeah.
So I just wanted genuine people. I didn't care about how many followers they had. I didn't care about any of that. It was just like, are you someone I'd want to hang out with? And it's literally the criteria. And again, it just grew. And then I wasn't going to add anyone else. And then we did the weekend away, and I met Andrew's mate Jay, who's like probably one of the nicest people I've ever met. And I was like, he's got
Don't tell him.
Don't tell him that. The fucking dickhead.
God, mate, you guy's an asshole.
He's got like an absolute wealth of knowledge with the outdoors. And you ask him something, he'll take the time to talk you through anything, and just super down. Like, some people could be quite snobby about, you don't know this or whatever. He's just down to earth and a really nice bloke. And I was like, he'd be perfect for the team. So it just grew. It naturally grew into what it is now, which is how I wanted it to be. I didn't want to force anything. But like I said, initially I was going to have Tanya and Andrew, and I was like, that'll be it. But it just grew into something that I thought, what, it would be cool to have a proper team and to do things as a team.
That's fucking awesome, though, to be fair. I think it's fucking brilliant, if I'm honest.
I mean, like, there's a brand with, like when we first started doing it, I was away in Scotland with Jay, and Jay was quite, for me anyway, Jay was quite a pivotal part from the start, because I'd worked with a couple of other companies, helping them promote stuff and things like that. And some of them were great, still work with them today. Some of them were just horrific, and I wouldn't go near it again. So when Stu originally asked me, I was a bit like, well, I know Stu is we're good mates, he's a good lad. His heart is in the right place with it. Tanya, again, no Tanya for a while. Same again, Tanya's an amazing person. She's heart's in the right place. And for me, I was like, great. And then, like, the weekend we were away, and Stu asked me about Jay. Me and Jay were both electrical engineers, but we didn't serve together. We passed each other at a company conference when we both worked our like previous jobs, and met each other that way, just by being like, oh, you're an engineer, nice one, so am I. And then that's how it goes, really.
Friends.
Yeah, pretty
engineer
much. Friends. Yeah. And then, but again, it's like
fixing things.
Like Beth, for example. Oh, that's a remake. No, not remake. But then, like Beth's another good example. I reached out to Beth.
She just got in on the banner, didn't she, with the bin fan?
Yeah, straight away. Yeah, so she does a bit for a few other different companies, but
she does one with
super sort of like
the
9 foot 9 killers.
JTAC blokes, isn't she?
Yeah.
Can't remember their name.
Yeah, and talking to Beth about things and the brand, and she was like, "Oh, he's doing really good." So I said to Stu, I was like, "Listen, this girl would be a great fit for the brand. It'd be good to have another sort of female with the brand to promote like the female line of stuff." But likewise, again, like being a veteran or serving military, we didn't want to focus on it being like a veteran brand. We just wanted good people behind the image, and
that's always a good thing. Because you guys have stuck with. Obviously, you are veterans and you're a veteran-owned company, but also bringing in the outsourcing of civvies like Leigh and I think that helps push, because I know for a fact that loads of civvies love military branded stuff, things like fucking Contact Coffee or whatever they are. Dead Mammoth, that sort of thing. Pathfinder, I think your guys is it something like that?
Yeah.
He's not.
But they're not veteran.
No,
No, they're
just
not.
like to support it.
They're just
No,
Oh, fair one. Didn't know that. Well, there you go. Every day's a learning day. But you know my fucking point.
exactly.
Fucking piping up, fucking civvy.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's the same. It's the same with
fucking say
when I started
fucked a lot of you.
podcast. It's the same when I started the
He was
podcast.
the biggest five.
So when I started, I had obviously a lot of input from my brother, aka Little Brown, and he was saying, yes, you're a veteran. Yes, you've got mental health issues, but you don't want your podcast to be solely based around that. You want to fucking reach out and get different guests. And then when I started speaking to different guests, I tend to found, because I'm heavily into mixed martial arts and things like that, the guest seems to be only mixed martial arts guys, people in UFC, Cage Warriors and that. And I was like, now I'm literally the veteran mixed martial arts podcast. I don't want that. I need to expand outwards. And that's where I went, Leigh, do you fancy coming on with your thick thighs?
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's the, I guess, the balance I'm trying to get with Lakota. It's not like I'm proud that it's veteran owned, and for me, and I'm not saying that companies that aren't veteran owned, you know, whatever, like, because there's so many silly companies that dwarf what we do. But I think I'm proud it's veteran owned, and it gives us like a DNA, like it gives us some kind of like some roots, some substance.
Yeah, you've got your
then I don't want to throw it down their face. So, you know, I like, you know, our t-shirts are quite plain looking, like, because I wanted something. I didn't want like loads of guns on it or anything like that. Like, the logo's cool enough. And I wanted to just put up a t-shirt that I would wear to the gym. So that's why we use, I mean, not this, is I'm going to be listing this soon, but, you know, that's why all the t-shirts are tri-blend, because it's the best material for active, for if you're in whatever you're doing.
Sexy.
And I didn't want to have heavily like veteran branded logo. Do you know what I mean? And I wanted
I get where you're coming from
to everyone, and I don't want to be like, oh, it's just veteran.
I
think that was one of the messages, because, well, you're veterans, aren't you? I said, no, we're not. Like, yeah, most of us are, but we've got people in there, like, you know, like Leigh, Lindsay, you know, we've got Tanya, we've got non-veterans, and I don't want it just to be a veteran thing. I have it, like I said, for the DNA, for the brand. It gives us, you know, those roots, but ultimately it's I think the brand there to try and inspire people to live, you know, an active lifestyle. It's that active, I started it because it's the escape from the 9 to 5. Like, you know, most majority of people sit in front of sit in front of a computer all day, sending emails, you know, and that's life. I can't get away from that. That's what pays the mortgage. But I wanted the brand to be the opposite. It's like, let's get outside, back to nature, how we're supposed to be.
Yeah, it's awesome when you have those little outlets. Like, obviously you've got your clothing line and things. I've got this. This is my outlet. So my 9 to 5 is shit, and I hate it. I don't give a fuck if my manager's listening or not. I hate it. And this is my escape. This is my domain. And like I've said fucking countless times, it's my podcast. I can do what I want with it. Like, my brother, every time we have our little podcast, me and my brother, he's like, you got to be careful, mate. You're going to get kicked off YouTube. It's like, so I don't care. It's like you said in our message that we had a little back and forth. You're like, is it going live on Instagram and things like that? I was like, it's not going to go. It's going to go. We'll do it on Zoom. And you're like, well, I don't really give a shit anyway. It's like, fair one. Man,
yeah, exactly. Like you have this podcast for the same reasons that I started Lakota. It's, for me, it's a little creative outlet. It's something different from like my career. Like, I'm lucky in the job I've got. Like, I work for a really great company, and it you know, it pays more than what I should probably earn with the qualifications I've got. So I'm doing all right. But ultimately, it's a corporate job, and we're not supposed to be sitting in front of computers. We're supposed to be out hunting and fishing and doing cool shit. But the 90%, 99% of the population, that's not a reality. It's a weekend thing. So,
and
exactly. So if I've got this brand, it's creative because I've got to come up with posts. I've got to get some cool images. I can then choose what type of clothing I want to sell, build a team around that, and it's that connection in the week. When you're at work, it's like, go on, check this. Someone's done something cool, and it's like with your podcast, it's just an outlet. And the funny thing is, like, if I shut it all down tomorrow, doesn't matter. So it's not my income, right? So it's my hobby. So if no one bought anything, it doesn't matter because I have a career. So I'm not doing it. And I think some people are a bit funny. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like, profit margins on t-shirts, on Tri-Blend t-shirts are crap. Like, I don't make a lot of money on it. But that's why. But I'm not doing it for that reason. So it's I've got that freedom to kind of, I can advertise as much or as little as I want because it doesn't matter. I don't make the guys push anything. So I love to have that freedom, which is what you have with your podcast.
I've had a lot of people sort of ask me recently, being like, what is it? What do you do? What, and I was like, it's literally just a brand. I mean, like, for me, the things that, I've spoke to you a lot about this, Stu, but like, when people are like, I'd love to do what you do, but I don't have the time. I'm like, yeah, but I have a 9 to 5 job.
He's lost it.
Cut him off, didn't it? He's like, I've got a 9 to 5. I'm out.
Yeah.
He's out. Go back to work. Is he back? Oh.
I've got 4. There should be. I think he'll be back, I'm sure.
He'll be back. Is he in?
You still here?
Yeah.
There he is.
Andrew
the Beard.
Andrew, why sent you in Milwaukee?
Say that again.
Send sit rep over.
Oh, I'm here. Yeah. Yeah. So I was saying,
we got to your 9 to 5, and then you decided to pop smoke and disappear.
Yeah, I was like, it's past my working day. Yeah, for me, I was like, we've all got 9 to 5 jobs, and there's a lot of people like, I'd love to be able to do what you guys are doing. Yeah, but everything that we put to the brand, we all do in our own time outside of our jobs. Isn't our career together. So like, if you want to go climbing after work or before work. If you want to go for a walk, archery, the gym, whatever, fit it around your job. And that's, if we can do it like this, there's, that's just showing examples to everyone that it can be done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And to be fair, it's like you guys did what? How many days did you do when you went out?
3
days, exactly. So all those images that everyone's probably thinking that from, like, that's what you do every day. It's like you probably took thousands of photos during that 3 days.
Exactly. We had 2 photographers and 2 drones. You know what I mean? Multiple cameras, and we've got an absolute stack of content. And then we all had phones. So some of the stuff I've been posting, I can't remember. I think it might have been Leigh, but the picture I posted of me today, I think Leigh might have taken that. I can't remember on his iPhone.
Proud of you.
I think it was
my uses.
Sometimes. More than Beth. Beth doesn't make herself useful, Beth. She listens.
Beth just stood and thanks, guys. Thanks. Well done.
Thanks, enter me. But it's
25K.
Did the Navy just pop out then? Enter me.
Oh, that's like from the trip. That's another story.
Oh, is that?
No, we're not going to that road. No.
It's not even good. So basically,
tell.
Leigh saw a competition online, and he went, "Oh, so and so competition," and she just turns around and went, "Enter me." And it was a bit like, "Whoa!" But yeah, no, that she did. We didn't let her live that down all weekend. But no, we got there. Like, we all drove. I left at like, I want to say 4 a.m. on the Friday morning. We all got up there for about 9 o'clock-ish Friday. Full day Friday, Saturday, left Sunday afternoon. now we've got a stack of media, stack of content, which I'll drip feed out for ages until we do something else. But then, you know, everyone's doing different bits. You know, I go to the gym. I don't post about it every morning, but I do CrossFit every morning. And sometimes I'll take a picture and post it. Other times, normally I can't be bothered because I like to just go to the gym and not worry about, I need to get a picture in. I just want to go and train. But, you know, sometimes I do get the odd picture and I'll post it up. Andrew, you know, he does his archery, so he gets a shitload of content from that. Leigh, you know, cycling, climbing, doing mad shit. So, you know, everyone's got stuff to drip feed out. And, you know, some people don't do it as much as the others, but then they'll come up and go, here's loads of pictures, and you go, oh wow, that's fucking incredible. So, you know, and again, like if I don't post, and again, if I don't want to post one day, I won't, because again, it doesn't bother me. I'll do this as long as I enjoy it. When it becomes a chore and it's boring, and I'm like,
it's no longer fun then, is it? It's like,
and I'll stack it off.
Yeah. See, my favourite thing at the moment, and Leigh will back me up on this. So I send Leigh fucking endless content, because I like to go through my Instagram because I do 12-hour shifts doing security, so I'm basically sat on my ass all day. So I'm pretty much on my phone, where most people go, fucking hell, Tommo, you reply quick. Yeah, it's because I'm on my phone all day. And I'll scroll through, and my mission is to hunt for cunts, basically. They tend to be.
He sends them to me and Shah, who presents Blonde and Strong podcast. Sends both of us these influencer posts that drive us fucking mental. They drive them mental, right? So I'll get a bog standard reply from Leigh saying, basically, that's annoying. Shah goes fucking in deep. She's like, these fucking cunts. It's like, yes, this is the highlight of my day. Watching you go mental.
Are they doing press ups for mental health awareness, civvies? No, that's what I'm going to get.
It's when they're like, I tell you what, I'll find one. I'll find one.
What is this other podcast? What's it called?
Blonde and Strong. Blonde and Strong. Yeah. She's been on the show before. Her story is something out of a movie. Honestly, incredible. It's mental. She's awesome.
What's the story then? If you can paraphrase.
Oh, she had some sort of tumor on her brain that was inoperable and things like that, and they told that she couldn't have kids. And then she had a kid and all this sort of stuff. I think her ex-partner was quite abusive as well, I believe. And she had PTSD. She got attacked going through a train station in London. And
fucking hell.
Fucking all sorts. Wow.
So she's basically an absolute badass now.
Yeah.
Basically. She's an amazing character.
My mission is to find things like that. Let me just turn the brightness down, otherwise it won't be able to show. So,
you're just gonna have to throw out.
So you have a picture like this.
Yeah.
Of a lovely lady, obviously, in the gym.
Andrew just got moist.
Yeah. But you get captions like, "You glow differently when you're happy." What the fuck has that got to do with the picture you just posted?
Yeah. Oh, you know what it is? I love it because it's when they put these like, I don't know, like those bullshit like descriptions, but it's like no one's liking it for the fucking words. They're liking it because you got your arse out. Like, do you not understand?
That is exactly it. I literally just send him. I just send him to Leigh, and he loves
thirsty guys. Thirsty men liking it.
I wake up to about five of these stories that are sent to me every morning at the moment. Every morning.
That's because basically I cycle to work at about 5 in the morning, so I get to work and I have to have me shower and all that shit, and then I'm just sat there waiting for the handover. So I'm like, I'm just gonna scroll through.
I know. I'll piss Leigh off before he goes to work.
I'm just gonna piss him off so he has a great day at work. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
See, like with that, what annoys me about that is that like everyone has their own sort of thing and like their own sort of like the reasons of why they're on social media. Yeah, so some people are just on there to be on there. Some people are on there because like that girl then has probably got the best intentions in the world to sort of make a difference, but just going about it all the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know?
No, she wants attention. That's all it is.
She's got daddy issues,
they're
that's what it
attention
is.
seekers, is what it is. And
Why would the caption just read like this picture and I'll post more semi-naked pictures?
yes,
Be honest.
Or here's one for you. Why don't you just do an OnlyFans and get paid?
Yeah.
Just get your cunt out.
Terrible. It's not worth the
To be
money.
fair, if
It's
I could
terrible,
make money
it's not worth the
I'd
money.
make it on the fans. I'd be raking it in.
Oh,
But
I'm thinking about making a extra Instagram page.
What are you going to say? I'm thinking about Leigh's OnlyFans.
I'm just gonna troll. Like,
It's that cowboy
I
hat
hate it
and
because I hate
jacket.
trolling people because they're obviously doing something for them, but don't be a cunt about it.
I agree. Do you know what? It's difficult because I don't want to be a negative person on social media.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I do it to wind Leigh up, but it also brings me joy.
There are some people you just want to go, what the fuck are you on about, mate?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
and,
like,
and that's why I've started another, like a kind of like a Lakota personal one, because I'm like, I don't want to post anything about politics or anything negative on the Lakota page, but I'm like, on my other one, if someone's pissed me off, I'll let them know about it. But it's, you know, I just hate that you've got people doing, it's so patronising, like, for a veteran with PTSD, have like a civvy do press ups each day to raise up. How is that raising awareness? Do you think any veteran with PTSD is going to see a civvy doing press ups and go, you know what, I'm going to get help. I need help. It's like, no, it's so patronising at that. Do you know what I mean? It's so patronising, and it's like it is this kind of I was chatting to Tanya about it ages ago. It's like this Jesus complex that they think they're like this God figure that can change the world. It's all for people to worship them, and there's too many of them on social media.
Yeah, I think with the press up thing, because that started a few years back, didn't it? It was the 22 press ups, and it popped up again just recently, I believe. And
yeah, and I think the odd kind of challenge, maybe, but when you're doing it every day, it's like, mate.
Because I did the original one, and it was before I was diagnosed with all the shit that was going on in my head. So I was like, if I put it out there, perhaps somebody might. But it might be different because I am a veteran at the end of the day. So other veterans might know.
It's not patronising and people go, oh well, you can't, you know, it's not. I'm like,
I can see that the point behind the civvies doing it, because they obviously, especially some of them, they're like, I love the military. I want to try and help.
I get that, and they want to support it.
Also, it doesn't need to be 22 days worth of press ups.
No, but one guy's been doing it for like 2 years.
We get it.
And I'm thinking, what? You're not doing it to help veterans. You're doing it because you want people to go, you're amazing. I mean,
you want those likes to go, you're doing a good job helping those people. You're not, because I can guarantee you haven't tried to phone anybody with any sort of mental health issue and go, are you all right, by the way? That helps more.
Bingo.
Than doing the press.
Someone's struggling.
Right, people that listen to this, how about this? Put a post up on your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, your TikTok. Never used it, but whatever. And just say, if you're struggling, give me a call or give me a DM. Do that. I'm here for you.
That isn't going to get likes.
I think it's even easier. I think it's just keep in contact with your mates, close mates. And you know, when your mates are a bit low, you might not hear from them. And I've had it recently with someone. I'm not going to name them.
Don't name them if you don't need to.
But but they it's like through Lakota, and they just mentioned that I'm just having a bit of a hard time. Every day I just checked in. How's it going?
Yeah.
That was it. And then they were like, yeah, I'm better now. And I think that's the way to do it. I don't think that's the way. And again, maybe I'm just a dick. Maybe I'm being a dick. But
no, I don't
for
think
me, if I was struggling, I'd want to speak to someone that I know, not just random on Instagram. But that's just me. I'm not saying they shouldn't.
No,
but
I
think it's just looking out for your mates.
So a mate of mine, I'm not going to name his name. Obviously, I don't want him to feel shit or whatever.
Yeah.
But my missus is also his hairdresser. So he went in, and my missus came home, and she was like, "Oh, I had so and so in today. He didn't seem himself. He wasn't chatty. He wasn't anything." So I was like, "Right, that's a bit of an alarm bell already, because he's usually chatting your ears off. He won't shut up." And I sent him a message. I was like, "You right?" And he was like, "Nah, mate. I miss the lads. I'm feeling a bit meh. Can we organise something?" I was like, "Yeah, no problem, mate." So we both sent a message out to a few of the other lads that are down here that we're quite close with. We're like, "Fancy a curry?" "Yeah, definitely. Let's all meet up for a curry." And we all went out the other night. We all went out. There was 6 of us. We went out for a curry, had a few beers. It was fucking nice. It was something that I think a lot of men struggle to admit, that they miss their mates. And that's a big thing, because especially the likes of people that are in close contact, like you guys with Team Lakota, or you've got veterans that are sort of come away from the military and lost their mates and things like that. You've lost that sense of camaraderie. You know what I'm fucking saying. And I think that's a big struggle. And then it's like, well, I'm going to appear like a right cunt if I don't fucking, if I say, oh, I'm struggling a bit here. That's what we need to break. That's what we need to break.
I would say, do you know what? I know also, not to be confused, because there's some really good people out there doing a lot in this realm. And I know there's a lot of organisations and like veteran groups that do like, hey, we meet up here on this day. Come and, and I think that's brilliant. I'm not digging them out. I'm kind of digging out the people that are doing things to gain followers, likes, attention.
That's not
sit right with me. People are, there are people out there that struggle, and social media is such a fake thing anyway. You've got people like showing these perfect lives, and it's not true. It's a load of bollocks, and you and I know that, but there are people out there, especially younger people, that buy into that.
Oh, my daughters are all in for it. My daughters are like, oh, look at these people. It's like, I asked my youngest, who's now changed what she wants to be when she grows up. So my youngest for ages said she wanted to be a police officer, and I was like, that's brilliant. You don't get many 6-year-old girls that want to be a police officer. My eldest wants to be a teacher, which is, again, awesome. I asked them the other day, I was like, do you guys still want to be police officer and teacher? They're like, no, we want to be YouTubers. I was like, oh, fuck off, will you? I'm pretty sure they were my words as well. Fuck off. It's like my eldest, she said to me, she was like, but Daddy, you're on YouTube. I was like, I'm only on YouTube for the podcast. It's like, it's not for me. Well, it is for me, but not for me. It's my way of dealing with, and I say, I always go, it's my way of dealing with my issues that I've got. And she goes, oh, is that why you take your happy pills? It's like, yeah, that's why I take my happy pills. Which was a bit of a struggle to talk about with a 9-year-old.
Yeah,
why you take these sort of things. But yeah, it was quite. It was a hard one, but it was one we had to do. So she asked me why I take my antidepressants that I take, and I was like, well, sometimes Daddy's a bit unbalanced and he needs to be balanced. And she was like, is that when you're unbalanced? Is that when you're really angry and shouting? And I'm like, well, I do that anyway. But yeah, that is definitely it. That is 100%. I was like, maybe I'm more snappy when I've forgotten to take him and things like that. But she seemed to get it. The youngest, she sort of just potters about being her little sassy self, which is awesome.
One thing I've seen, which is like, obviously, my links into like mental health, you know, I'm pretty sort of strong behind it, given like my own background and losing my dad, taking his life, and you know, it was a tough subject at first, but one thing that I did notice, the more sort of like chats I had with people about it is, this might just be my experience, so I could be wrong. I don't want to put it out to the world that I'm right with this.
No.
That you will genuinely get females say things like, "Oh, you know, I take tablets," or you know, or whatever it is. You never hear a bloke say to another bloke, "Oh, I'm on antidepressants at times," or whatever it may be. You know, have anxiety, depression, because obviously in the veteran sort of world, it's labelled as like PTSD. Then that's it. Well, I know lads who are veterans who've got mental health problems. It's nothing to do with their service. It's since they've left. 100%. You know, and I think genuinely, you know, Leigh, you might have a similar sort of view on it, because obviously, you know, coming from just a civilian sort of perspective, is, you know, you never hear lads sort of be like, "Oh, I'm a bit depressed." I think because there is still a stigma for men to sort of carry like the weight of the world. Yeah, you know.
I think there is, and I don't think there should be, and I think there's a lot going out there that, you know, to change that stigma, but I think there still is. I think lads still don't feel comfortable doing it. Like I had some counsellor when I left. At the time, it was basically like my missus at the time was like, "You need to go and see someone because you've got, you know, stress or whatever." And similar to Andrew, I was, you know, come back from 3 tours, and my dad died of cancer. And I had counselling, and I remember telling a friend of mine that was in the Navy at the time, I was at a gig, and I just was like, I just want to tell someone. But I felt really kind of weird about saying it. Do you know what I mean? I felt like a bit of a fucking dick, a bit of a loser. But I think you're right. I think people don't. I think, and again, I think all the stuff from Instagram and social media is great in the majority of it. Like Dave Radban, I think he leads the charge with it. You know, he puts up some
that's
really
a wrong statement. He doesn't
stuff.
love it, but he's
genuine, right? And when you read this post, I think it's very helpful, and I think that does a lot for people to think, well, fucking hell, that guy's saying it. Like,
that fucking monster's saying it.
But you know, again, my issue is for people that do it for the wrong reasons. But I still think there is a stigma, and I think it comes to, I think initially we need to do it locally. Check on your mates, like you did. You know, your wife said he's not right. You checked on him. You went out. You know what I mean? It's those little things. It doesn't have to be a huge charity event. It can just be keep an eye on your mates. I mean, most of us vets have got, you know, in, you know, WhatsApp groups. Like I've got WhatsApp groups.
I've got too many WhatsApp groups.
The lads I serve with, and we stay in contact on there. And one of my good friends got severe PTSD and got medically discharged from it. Who I serve with, you know, and over the years he's had issues, and I've, you know, and when I wouldn't hear from him for a while, I would just give him a call. And this was before, you know, I'm going back like 10 before I was on Instagram and all that. So I was like, hang on, this ain't right, and you just got to check in. And I think that's the minimum we can do. But I think the battle against the stigma is going well. But I don't know if we'll ever fully get rid of it.
I don't think it's in like the makeup.
I don't think there should be stigma, but
there shouldn't be. But there will always be something. And I was very similar to you when I came out, and again I did similar. I did 3 tours as well, and I came out, lost my identity as I thought. But I honestly thought I was fine. Although I was very snappy and like I was. Is
it because you missed the hotels?
I did love the hotels. I didn't.
You missed the room service
because you guys seem to forget that I was in the regiment. So we are looked down upon by the rest of the. We are looked down upon by the rest of the military. Everybody hates us, including the air.
PTSD being doing a 5 mile of death, isn't it?
It is, mate. That is shit. I think I talked about. Did I talk about that with you?
Yeah.
Andrew, about the 5 mile.
Yeah, he
death.
did, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember you saying about it.
It was generally harder than what they fucking made out on that fucking video. But yeah,
What do the rest of the RAF think of the RAF regiment?
What's that, mate?
What do the rest of the RAF think of the RAF
They fucking hate us,
regiment?
The rest of the RAF hate us.
The thing is, you ain't got a chance, have you? You're in the RAF, which is you're already on the back foot.
Yeah, we're already on the back foot, and then we pretend to
all
be.
the hate each other, but the Navy and the Army are going up against the RAF.
Nah, to be fair, right, I'm actually gonna stick up for us. All the banter aside that I love.
I know.
Now the Air Force don't like us because we're the ones that take them through the start of their basic training when they do inverted commas soldering phase learning.
Oh, right, yeah.
So they hate us because
You beast them.
we beast them to death. Fucking the Army hate us because we think we're infantry when we are infantry, but not to the extent of what like the paras and the rifles and all the others that pretend to be as good as those ones. I think I put a post up about that the other day. And obviously the Marines hate us. The Navy hate us because we're Air Force. The Marines hate us because the same as the Para Edge. But the one thing I honestly hate this as well is the whole big three thing. I don't know who came up with that, but it is annoying, right? Just say that you give a section or whatever it is to FSSG or whatever it is, Special Forces Support Group for Leigh, who doesn't understand acronyms.
He's probably asleep.
He's still here somewhere, I think. So yeah, we give to Special Forces Support Group, just like the Marines and the Paras. That's where the big three comes from. The Marines and the Paras hate it because we give to it. But the funny thing is, though, those that have worked with the decent members of the RAF Reg, they're like, oh yeah, they're actually quite sound. It's those handful that are like the 5 mile of death. Oh, we did this. Yeah. It's like, shut up, you cunt. It's like,
I remember. Sorry to jump in on that. I remember
right.
when I was I bumped into a group of SFSG, and it was RAF Reg at the time. We were there, and I remember walking into this accommodation bit, and at the time I had a UGL on my S80, and I put it down, and I no shit swear to God, one lad went, "I've never seen one of them," and at the time I was like, "You're in this group though," and he just looked at me and went, "Yeah," and I was like, "Do you mean not seen one?" He went, "I've never seen one," and I was like, "You have just opened yourself up to a whole world of shit."
That is a whole world. But I had one. That was part of my fucking weapon system when I was in CAF. I was the fucking prick.
Me and you said this last time though. We were like, I think, and I had a chat with Stu about this as well, because obviously prior to joining the army, I was trying to go with the Navy, and I genuinely feel if you want to go in the forces because you want to go in the, if you want to join the military, no one ever really does it just because. Yeah. I reckon you could go in any cat badge or any arm of the military, and you would think that your cat badge or your regiment or whatever your part is the best thing ever, because you are conditioned to believe that you are in the best thing ever. And it's
and
meant,
you're proud of it.
Oh, I'm
exactly.
All the fucking tattoo and everything.
What does it say? What does it say?
You want to see this rascal, mate? This was when I thought I was going to be a lifer. Look at this bad boy. He's only got a rock, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, I respect that. That's class.
Rascal, mate. See, most rocks either get per ardua, which is the motto, or they'll get like a mud guard with RAF Reg on it, which is gay. So I spoke to my cousin and I was like, I want a tattoo for the regiment. Can you hook me up? He was like, yeah, if you guys got a nickname or anything? I was like, yeah, we're the Rock Apes. So he was like, no, I'll leave it with me. And he designed this fucking ape holding the flag on a load of rocks with Per Argel underneath.
That is actually cool.
And I was like, I want that. I got a lot of shit when I first got it, but everyone else was like, that was one of the best tattoos I've seen in the for the regiment. I was like, you're fucking right, it is. Fucking right, doggy.
Yeah. That is cool. I mean, like, I mentioned quite a bit that, like, you know, like that Masapa and Royal Engineers and all that stuff, but it was only because there's like, I've met people now, like my mate Jay, who's now part of Lakota, Jono, he's also Sapper, so Sam, but I do it mostly because I worked with some ex-infantry lad, and he fucking hated the fact that I was an ex-Royal Engineer, because every time anything to do with being a veteran come up, he was like, yeah, we don't say that with veterans. And then the second I left, he was like, I am infantry. Come on, mate. I can't help it that we're awesome. It's just one of them things, you know, we're everywhere.
I think at the end of the day, like, we'll always have the banter, but it's like, at the end of the day, like, you got to respect people no matter what unit, no matter what job they did. Because for me, I'm like, well, they, you know, especially, not saying it's the end all, but especially the ones that actually like properly like went on tour, and don't matter what you did on tour, but you got to respect it, you know. There'd always be bad, and I'll always throw shit at the RAF Reg, but at the end
Everybody
of the
throws
day,
shit at the RAF Reg.
you can't help but not, you know, you got to respect everyone.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I'm Navy, mate.
I really enjoy you protect the naffy, you shoot your own body armor, you never leave the wire. I love all that.
I think though, if you went there, though,
I do have a gen.
Exactly, you need an naffy, mate.
Always.
I do have a gen complaint about the RAF Reg, which is why I didn't like him for many years, and I don't know the full reasons. So, I think it was the first tour of Basra. We got attacked every day.
I went to Basra
at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. every morning. Can't remember, but it was like one of those times. Like, you could set your watch to it, like, oh, it's 10 o'clock. Sirens going off, rockets coming in. This went on for 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm thinking, this is just fucking weird. Anyway, we got like, it stopped, and we had like one of those int briefs, and they were like, just, you know, general updates, and they said, oh, and this is Jen, I'm not lying, and I'm not going to blame the RAF because I don't know what their circumstances were, but the reason this happened was because the RAF went out every morning at the same time. They didn't stagger their patrols.
Yeah,
they went out. They did the same route, back in just before 10 or 11, and then the enemy knew that, and they went, oh, they've gone back in now.
Exactly,
and then so the RAF Reg then staggered their patrols, and it stopped. But I don't know the reason. You know, back then I'd be like, oh, fucking RAF Reg is shit.
Yeah,
but then it's like, well, there's obviously a big reason for that.
We're always conditioned, especially us lot. We were always conditioned, don't set patterns. Yeah. As you would know, because obviously you'd get rocketed, or you'd if you take the same route, you might get an IED, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the thing with, like, I went to Basra in 09 when we were closing it down, so it wasn't as bad then, and the same with CAF. Well, CAF was actually quite bad, but yeah, Basra itself, it was. A lot of people forget that when we go out on certain things, we only have what we call a flight, which is a platoon. I don't know what you call it in the Navy. I have no idea.
Well, in our squadrons, it's a flight. Yeah, we have.
So we'd go out as a flight, but then you would basically cut it in half or whatever. So you'd have like one half of the flight will go to the south, or I think it was south, and then the other half will go to the north. Basically to try and stop as many rocket attacks as we could. And when you think about it, it's not that many. If it's just a platoon strength, it's only I can't even remember now, it's been that long. And I even remember going out on patrol on the one night, and it was a quiet night, it was clear, and it was like, oh, this is a fucking nice night. And then all you see is this go across the sky, and you're like, oh fuck, rocket, 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 and you're like, oh shit, now we're gonna have to go and do some action.
Quiet.
Yeah.
It's too quiet for it, yeah, and it was just like, boom. But
I've got a question for Leigh to keep him awake more than anything.
yeah, we got to get Leigh back.
Let's talk
This is
military.
literally
Totally.
this is tri-service chat.
Yeah.
Oh, Leigh's here.
So Leigh,
This is,
when
this is
when
the
we were
awesome
away,
Frostum.
when we were away, Leigh, obviously, when your mate Sam turned up, me, my brother and Jay obviously didn't know that Sam was an engineer, and he didn't know that we were. And when we found out that it was, we were like, "Whoa, Sam's everywhere!" And obviously, you know, you saw the banter between us and then us giving Stu some shit because he was in the Navy.
Service.
From your perspective of being around like a veteran brand and seeing that side of, you know, that element of life brought to it, what's it like? Because it's very rare you get the chance to ask.
Yeah, on a scale of one. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you hate it?
How much did you
We
want to
spent
be
most of our
edited?
time cuddling, so I think it was all right.
The thing with Leigh is he fits in because he's ex-rugby player or current rugby player.
Yeah, definite.
For me,
So it's like the same thing.
to be honest, the stories are some of the funniest I've heard.
Oh, there's some
Friday
brilliant
night.
stories.
Like, let's be honest, Friday night I was crying after a couple of bottles of wine with Beth. We were crying at the stories that these lads were coming out with. Absolutely hilarious, not to be shared on here at this moment in time, I don't think.
Yeah, that's another one that was quite interesting. Obviously, Beth isn't ex-military, but her dad has been in the military like her entire, so she's grown up around that. So like the level of, so when I first met Beth, her level of banter instantly matched mine and Jay's, and we were like, we will get on with her because she can take shit and give shit out.
She's one of us.
She is a good lad.
And
I think the whole thing with Lakota, like, is that with the whole thing of it being a veteran brand, like owned brand, but not being exclusive to veterans, is because we've all got the same mindset. I get mistaken or asked quite often if I'm ex-military, which is something I wish I had done, but I'm not. I never
you
have
said this
done.
when you were on the podcast the first time. I
Exactly
thought you were ex-military. And you sound like an officer.
It's because he goes around saying he's ex-22, that's why.
Well, he sounds like an officer. He sounds like an absolute Rupert.
Oh, can I just jump in and say one thing? The first time I heard his voice, I did not put his voice to that body. I
didn't either.
You don't.
I was like, oh, it's a posh
You
boy.
think he's going to sound like, I'm going to eat you. But
Yeah.
I was like, he's going to make them look at them quads really awkward now. He's got his little posh voice.
His quads sound like
I let him on the team, so I thought he was going to beat me up. Right, sorry, Leigh, crack on.
I think the thing is we've all got the same mindset of just like get shit done, and I think that's like the same with all of us. Like that's why we get out and do what we do, is because although we have our 9 to 5s, well, a 9 to 5 would be a luxury for me. I think I work 6 till 5 at the moment, which is pretty rough. But like I do all these things. Ooh,
full 12
I make
hours,
it to the gym as well, though. Ooh.
Ooh. I do a nice 20k a day, so that's good enough for me.
Oh, Leigh just dropping bangers.
Oh, it's my turn to get the fucking knocks in, isn't it? No, I think that's what it is. I think it's just about mindset, and I think that's what's good about the brands that we put out. That's the reason that I actually was interested in joining Lakota, because Lakota was the first team that I joined. And if I'm honest, like we spoke about on our show before, I had no interest in being someone that like puts out content or tries to be like the post I put out today about, I have no interest in what would normally be classed as an influencer, but yet, you know, here I am posting my ideas and thoughts and opinions on there. And Lakota was the first ones to like catch my attention due to their ethos, because I'm only interested in the things that I want to do and promote, and Lakota was exactly that. I fell in love with the brand because of the message they were putting out. Stu was exactly the same as me in the sense of get outdoors, the mental and physical benefits of like getting out, doing some physical exertion, or into the mountains, getting some perspective. Like, and I think that's what is good about it, because that, now people are starting to see that a team like us can promote something like that, and they're actually wanting to get out and do it. They're seeing these trips, like the trip that we did. Like the first day I joined Lakota, we agreed to do the fan dance together, and we booked in the Lake District trip.
Yeah.
Like literally the first day I joined, I was like, I'm in the right fucking team. Like, you know, all I want to do is do the things I enjoy outside of my job, because my job doesn't fulfill me. It's, you know, it's same as Stu. It's a good job. It's fairly interesting, but it doesn't fulfill me, like, mentally and
Not your
physically.
passion.
No, it's not. And all the things that I do on my social media are the things that I really enjoy doing, like climbing mountains, abseiling, like training,
Deadlifting.
and if I can use the platform to promote that alongside a team that has exactly the same ethos, then that can only be a benefit. And the amount of messages that I receive now is like incredible. The people that have bought into the brand, and when I say bought into the brand, they're not like Stu said, he isn't doing this to really make money. This is his hobby, his passion, his outlet. And I'm doing the same, but I'm doing it alongside him and Andrew and Tanya and Beth and Jono. We're all doing it because this is what we enjoy doing, and we want other people to see the benefits of actually getting out and doing it.
Yeah.
Like, because I think
it's like we. Go on, sorry.
I think the thing that most people are losing, like going back to the depression and PTSD thing, I have a theory about this, especially with males, is that most people are losing their sense of purpose. And that's why it doesn't have to be what happened or what you saw on your tours that puts you in a bad state. It's usually actually coming back to civvy life and then not having the things that the military sort out for you, like, you know, your national insurance, your tax, your everything, like, and you're not being given your orders. You don't have purpose. And I think that's no different for civvies. Like, and I don't want to go too deep into this because I do have a theory about this that will go deep and deep, but I won't. I think that's why men are struggling so much in today's society, and there's so much mental health issues, is because women are now becoming more and more capable. They're earning just as much money as men are. They're being able to have the same jobs that men can, if not earn more money. Men are not having the same, like, purpose like they used to. When we went back a long time ago,
Our DNA.
Yeah, it's in our DNA to hunt.
DNA. And listen, and I'm all for equality. Like, trust me, I'm all for that. And I think women are as capable as men. I'm not debating that. But I genuinely think there is a DNA trait that we have as men that most of us, we've got that call to, like, the wild, like hunting, all that stuff that was installed in cavemen. I think there's still a bit of that in us.
There is.
So why do you think, like, my son's now 4 and all of a sudden he wants to play fight every day? He's like, let's go play fight, and I have to play fight and I have to pretend to be Megatron and he's Optimus Prime and he shoots me with guns and fights me. I just think that's what boys do. That's
brilliant.
Yeah, but that's the warrior inside of us that we can't just get rid of. And Leigh, I think you're absolutely bob on. And I don't think it matters if you're a veteran or a civvy. I think it's a male thing. And also to touch on the veteran thing, just because someone's a veteran doesn't make them an awesome person, because we've all known a load of fucking dickheads.
Oh yeah, you know a lot.
And again, on Instagram, everyone that's a veteran's like, oh my god, they're a hero. No. Like 90% of us are dickheads. But going on to Leigh's theory, I know what he's saying. I completely agree with that.
Leigh,
I think
I read a book called The Way of Men by a guy called Jack Donovan, and it's about, some of it's great, and it depends how deep you want to go into it. But it was basically about this guy's view of, like, what's called like an us and them complex. So there will always be people who want to stand on the line and people who are quite happy to sit back and let other people be violent for them. But in the same aspect of that, like, men in this day and age are at risk of losing sort of their masculinity because you can't be a certain way. So if you work in an office, for example, you can't be a certain way around female colleagues because it's not right. But I think what he kind of sort of says is that, like, we have to act a very certain way, but it's not always the same. Do you know what I mean? I mean,
I know where you're going with this, and I agree with you. And you know, that is the society that we live in today. But in what I think people are missing is that everything is in the choices that you make. Like, I could pander to society and just go and do my job, go home, sit in front of the TV, and I could get depressed quite easily. If that's what I chose to do with my life, then I would that would not make me happy. That would make me completely depressed.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But I don't. I choose to go and pursue the things that I want to do. Now, those things are climbing mountains, like abseiling, cycling, physically exerting myself, doing these silly challenges, like climbing up Penny Fan of like weight on my back. These are the things that give me like mental, like free, like gives me freeness within my mind, because I get out and I push myself and I want to see what I can do. And if you're not doing that, then you've got if you're just doing the Monday 9 to 5, going home and then doing nothing, you're not going to be happy. That's not a happy existence. We're not designed to do that.
I think we were designed to move and work, not be stationary and do a mundane job. And I think not always, but I think exercise regularly will not cure, but will help people with depression and anxiety, because you get the endorphin rush. I know my brother, he has depression and he runs, and that helps him. He still takes pills, but when he exercises, it puts him on even more. It doesn't, you know, he still has it, but it does help.
Let's look at this.
I also think with the going back to kind of like what you were saying, Leigh, about getting outdoors and you know, climbing mountains and all that good stuff. I think if you look at especially the team, like we were pretty much that way. I think that in this day and age, you're seen as an alpha male, and then if you're seen as an alpha male, you've got this toxic masculinity, and it's almost like someone could look at you because you're a big lad and you do that kind of stuff. They're looking at you in a negative way, and it's almost like it's sexist because you're an alpha male and you want to go out and hunt and climb mountains. But I feel like that's what men are meant to do anyway, and I don't feel like we should be victimized for that, or we should be looked down upon or looked at some being sexist. It's like, no, I'm not being sexist. Women can do it with us, but we need to do it. That's our DNA. That's what we need to do. And I don't see exactly, and I don't see why people talk about masculinity in a toxic way. I think it's fucking awesome, and that's us. I think there's too many lefties at the minute trying to make the world equal. You can't. Like, this is how I generally believe. You're like, when you're born, you're handed cards. That's your hand. You're dealt a hand of cards, and someone might be born into a wealthy family, and some people are born in a real shit circumstance. And that's, don't get me wrong, that's horrible. But I think that's life, and it's hard, and it's not fair, and it sucks, and it shouldn't happen. But that's life. I wasn't born into money. You know, I had to share a room with my brother. You know, I had it better than a lot of people, but I didn't have it as good as most.
It's
that was my hand, and you have to make the best hand you can. With it.
That comes on to a good point, actually. I put a post up yesterday about I think it's called The Rising Phoenix, or The Phoenix Rising, or whatever it is, on Netflix, and it's basically about the Paralympics, and they've got a handful of these Olympians and how they've dealt with the cards that they've been drawn, basically.
Yeah.
So there was a girl that had her leg amputated when she was 3, I believe, and ended up being a phenomenal swimmer. There was a lad that grew up in I'm not 100% sure where it was in Africa, but he grew up in this horrible French state in Africa and got attacked. He witnessed his mum being murdered with a machete, and then had his arm cut with a machete, and then his legs taken from him with this fucking same machete.
Jesus.
He ended up being an Olympian long jumper. And the other one was a South African that was born disabled, and they thought he was going to just basically be tossed aside. But he ended up learning to run on these blades. And at 14, he was at Rio, and he got the silver medal in the 200-meter sprint or whatever. There was fucking loads of them. There was one with a girl who loved fencing, and then at the age of 9, I think it was, she got meningitis, and they amputated her arms first, but the disease still carried on spreading, so they amputated her legs. So she had like no arms, no legs. She was like, well, I'm useless now. But then she was like, I'm not. I can do more, and I love fencing. And then she became a fucking gold medalist in the Rio Olympics at the age of 19, fencing. It's like, this is mental.
Again, this is exactly what we said about Lakota. It's all about mindset. You know, we've all been through shit. Well, no life's perfect.
I had a previous guest and a really, really good friend of mine, Robbo, who lost both his legs in Bastion. He got hit by an IED, lost both his legs. I was dealing with the radio calls at the time, so I dealt with his incident. But fast forward, he ended up being the captain of the wheelchair rugby team in the Invictus Games. And now he's on the verge of joining the Team GB, going to, well, it would be Tokyo. I'm guessing it's next year now. But yeah, he's joining Team GB in Tokyo. And it's like he's taken his disability and turned it into to be.
And the thing is, like, no one's saying that's easy, but it's doable. And I genuinely think, like,
it's how you deal with it.
People cry about inequality, or, oh, well, I'm from this place, like, I haven't got the same opportunities. Yeah, you're probably right. You've dealt a shitty hand, but what the fuck are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it? Exactly.
And I'm sick of just blaming their circumstances. Like, you've just said there, like, you know, a girl lost all her limbs, yet she's achieved something.
She achieved a fucking gold medal in fucking Rio Olympics.
So and I'm not saying everyone that's going to lose all their limbs is going to be that, but it just shows you what you can do.
Exactly. On another note, there was a girl on there that was born disabled in Russia, and at the time in the 80s, Russia came out and said, we don't have any disabled people, as Russia would do. She was adopted by an American family and basically taught herself to be fucking shit hot in a fucking wheelchair, standard. She then sued the American establishment, I don't know the fucking word, because she couldn't compete alongside other people during like PE lessons because she was in a wheelchair. She was like, why can't I? I should be able to go on the track at the same time. She won that, and then she ended up winning fucking countless golds in the Summer Olympics, and then she went and did the fucking cross country in the Winter Olympics and won a gold medal then. It's like, you're incredible. And it's how you deal with you. It's like I said about Robbo. Robbo got blown up. He could have gone, oh, fucking hell.
Exactly.
But he didn't. He went, fucking hell, I can do something.
Yeah. And it's not. And it's. Like I said, we're not saying it's easy. He's probably
It's
going
not
to
easy.
hell,
No,
that guy.
it's the same.
But
It's the same
he's
with
come out the other end.
yeah. It's the same with mental health issues as well. Like, obviously, a big part of the podcast is mental health issues. When I was diagnosed with my depression and PTSD from my therapist and the doctor, I could have gone, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I was like, how can I turn this around and help myself and other people at the same time? That was my goal. Yeah, I've got a podcast, and yeah, I'd love it to be as big as it won't, but I'd love it to be as big as, say, fucking Joe Rogan or something like that. It won't, but that's not my goal. My goal is to show people that it's all right to sit here and have a chat with your mates about things like this, about what you guys do. It's just to get other people.
I think it's a good voice, because on social media there's a lot of this kind of weird, like, oh, everyone's got to be equal, and we need to make all these rules up so everyone's got this equal. And I think everyone should be equal. I see everyone as equals. We're all humans, but it's where you give people opportunity over other people, and I just think, like, you've been dealt a hand, make the best with it. Like, we can't change how it is, and it's like, oh, toxic masculinity, and they ban certain adverts that show men in typical men roles, and it's like,
fucking annoying, isn't it?
Why is that such a bad thing?
Didn't Gillette do something? Not that Andrew would know, but Gillette definitely did something with their shaver.
Yeah, they did.
Fucking Andrew just changed the channel straight away. He went, I'm not watching that.
I went, fuck,
shaving's not right.
Get out.
I actually think it was something out of it when it wasn't like something like Real Men Shave or something like that.
It was.
They had to ban it. They had to ban it because it was like a stereotype.
That's something else that we spoke about briefly, me and Sean. But I know that I had a chat with you two when we were away. Like, when people like, I've not always had a beard, but people talk to you differently when you have a beard.
Do they want to
yeah, well, it's really odd. I mean, there's two sides. So, like, you'll be met with, say, so there's two types of female. There'll be girls who are like, I hate beards. Fine, it's not on your face. Or girls who are like, I love beards. Granted, you're going to get that with everyone. But then in the same aspect, you have lads as well who are like, one, you get, I can't grow a beard because my missus won't let me. Shut up. It's on your face. You are your own person. But then, like, you almost met with, like, a level of respect from other bearded guys who are like, your fucking beard's cool. And you're like, yeah, man. And they're like, how'd you get it so long? Like, it's so odd. It's like the strangest thing ever. But that is a typical example of sort of like people see you a certain way.
Yeah. Because
you have a beard.
Yeah.
Like, they'll be like, you're expected to be sort of like Tanya was a great example. She was like, oh, it's like such a badass, like such a Viking. Yeah, granted, I like to think I'm quite a badass, but I'm just a nice lad. Like, just people sort of, it's like, same with tattoos as well. Like, if you've got loads of tattoos, people are like, oh, he's got loads of tattoos in. So yeah.
You tend to find that they've got loads of tattoos. Usually, if you've got loads of tattoos, you're less of a dick than people that don't have any.
Yeah,
1,000,000%. Yeah.
But on the beard thing,
I will say this about beards. If you've got a beard, you wear a baseball cap better. It looks better if you've got a beard.
Hey,
that's
I
just
also,
that.
the only reason
had to hide my receding hairline. So.
I trimmed.
Well, see, the only reason I shaved my head is because I thought it'll make so like.
I need a beard.
Yeah, so
upside down face if you've got a beard and no hair.
Yeah, I wanted to shave head for a while, but then when I made the decision to start growing my beard out, and then lockdown happened, and I was like, oh, there's no barbers. Fuck it, I'm just gonna shave my head. And then when it did, I was like, fucking, that makes my beard look fucking mint. It's like an illusion. It's like a play on mirrors. People like, you've got a wicked beard, or I just have no hair. Yeah, definitely.
We need to get off the subject of beards because we all know that I can't grow a proper one, so we'll skip past that.
Stu's beard's mint. Hey.
Have you seen my? I
You did, yeah.
you
You showed
did.
me your beard.
I can.
Yeah.
I've got bits that don't grow, and it fucks me off.
I
Just leave
can
it.
grow a
It'll
beard,
fall out.
It
but
just
I
it
look
just stops. It's
horrendous.
like I've got little bits just here on the cheeks. It's like, nah, you're all right, Tommo. We ain't growing there, mate. And it's like, all right.
I
My brother
genuinely
takes a
think if you
piss. My
if you
brother's
just leave
just such
it.
a cunt. So it grows
Leave it.
really straight. So basically, I look like a fucking brush. It's just straight fucking hair. It's like I want a big, full-on Hagrid, bushy beard, as they would say in Bristol.
Can you rock a tash though? Can you rock a mustache? Because I mean, like
I can
Jay's
grow.
He's,
I can grow.
he wants a beard, but he's
Quality.
tight.
I could grow a quality mustache. It's the Thompson trait.
Do that.
You in the rap?
I was in the Air Force, of course I can.
I'm
My
gonna
old
try and find
that.
the picture.
my old man's got a good beard now. He looks like Father Christmas. It's all fucking grey and brilliant. But he had always
I
had.
think Andrew looks like Santa.
And the other week,
I would not make a good Father Christmas.
the other week, I had.
I would
My
not.
face was growing all right. It wasn't great, obviously, because I can't grow a proper beard. And I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I thought, I might just rock a tash, just bring it back. And I said to the missus, I went, shall I grow a tash? And she went, don't you dare! You look like a fucking pedo. I was like,
Nah, see, that's what I'm talking about. It's sod it. It's just grow a tash. Just
I might just do it.
Mustache.
You know what?
Bring it back.
For Team Lakota, I'm just going to grow a tash. I'll grow it out, and then I'll shave the fucking cheeks and thing off, and I'll do an episode or few, and if it sticks, it sticks.
However, though, I want a disclaimer that we are not held responsible.
You are.
Or myself for your
and I'm going
divorce.
to blame you guys for it. I'm going to say, I won't say a name because I'm trying to stay away from saying the missus's name and the kids' names on the podcast. But I'll go, look, Team Lakota told me to grow a moustache and I've got to do it.
No, we're taking away all responsibility.
Do you know what? I'm going to quickly.
November.
I'm going to Yeah, it's almost November. You're right. I'll do it.
So November, just say it's for that.
Yeah. Shut up, Leigh.
Oh yeah, bring it back. Bring that back. Bring that.
So I'm going to quickly bring back another point from Stu about when you were talking about the PTSD and people sort of faking it and what have you.
Yeah.
This is a Gen story now. So before I did the job that I'm doing now, I used to do surveillance, and part of that job was to go out and spy basically on benefit cheats. And one of the tasks that I had was a former Navy bloke that was claiming that he had PTSD and he couldn't leave his house because he's afraid if he saw any sort of Asian or Middle Eastern person, he would have a meltdown, basically. So he was
This me?
This is genuine now, right? So we set up. We're always in a team of two, unless it was a really high targeted person where you'd go out with a few others. So you'd have the van man, which was me on the day. So you'd park up in your van, you'd get into the back, you'd open the curtains a little bit, and you would basically film. And matey boy decided he fancied going out for a trip with his missus and his kids. And I was like, well, if he's fucking not supposed to be going out because of his PTSD, I believe he was in, I want to say northwest London. That could be wrong, but it was a very high Middle Eastern, Indian, Pakistani sort of area. And it's like, if you've got PTSD where you can't go outside because you're afraid of these sort of people, you're not going to go outside at all. So I'm there, and you call it over the radio. He's on his way out, and we basically followed him for the whole day. And he was out. He was in town. He was rocking about. He went to a football match. Fucking everything. And I was there going, we've got a fucking banger here. Literally filming him all day. It was brilliant. And I was like, it fucking wound me up because I obviously at that point I was still sort of struggling without coming out with my my issues. And I was like, this fucking cunt. There are people that are really struggling with that actual problem. And you're just fucking
need the money, and you're taking
money from fucking the military. If he's getting it from the military or the fucking whoever, it's just fucking wound me up. And
we had a benefit sheet that lived opposite the shop I worked in as a teenager, and he'd come in. It was one day I watched him fix his roof. He was up ladders.
Oh, they're brilliant, mate.
Fixing his roof, running around his roof like
I've got
right?
fucking stories as long as this fucking video, mate.
But then he'd come to the shop and he'd have his like walking sticks, and you're like,
here's one for you. This is my favourite from my time. So we're obviously we're in our pair, and Kelly was the team leader of the day. So she went to the house. So fucking hell, it was a medical day, which are the best days to work. If you get called, you're on a medical day, you're like, brilliant. This is amazing. So Kelly went to the house, was filming her from the house into the car, got to the medical area, which is where I was. I was literally car park, front of the fucking hospital or doctor surgery car park in London. I'm filming. She gets out. She's fucking stumbling. She's fucking struggling. Her mate's pulling out the wheelchair. She gets in the wheelchair. They roll up, get into the surgery, come out. Same thing. Really struggling. We then follow them from the doctors. We're following her along. They stop off at her services, and I was like, "This is fucking brilliant." So I pull up in the car park. I'm watching their car. I'm filming them. She gets out, literally walks out into the services. I'm there filming. We fucking got a fucking golden goose here. And then I get a call over the radio. It's like, Tommo, you need to go and follow. I was like, brilliant. Can't wait for this. So I literally followed them into the services with my my discreet camera, which is basically like a very old 8210 phone, but it's got a camera in the top. So you just press record. And she was walking around the services. She was fine. She was going into Costa, getting a coffee, sitting down, all that. And I was there filming, just like going, I'm going to get a fucking top dog award for this. This is fucking endless shit of this fucking knobhead faking everything. And it's like, this is brilliant. It's like one of those days that really submits what you really wanted in the job and catching them in the act when they're like faking it. Brilliant. And like obviously you get the days where you're there for like 8, 9, 10 hours and they haven't done anything, and you're literally sat in the middle of summer in the back of a fucking van sweating your tits off. But those sort of days, you're like, this is why you do this job. I had quite a few good ones like that, and it was just fucking brilliant. I followed a bloke that said he couldn't walk properly, couldn't look after his kids. I followed him to Thorpe Park, which was fun. He took his kids to Thorpe Park. I ended up going on a few rides, which was nice. But yeah, it's fucking brilliant. Yeah. It was probably the most fun I had doing work ever until they started sending me all over the fucking country when I couldn't. It was a pain in the ass. I told him basically that I was set for London and the Southeast. That's where I was supposed to be based. And I worked every weekend so I could have Monday and Tuesday off for the kids. They took that as an advantage, and they would send me to fucking Manchester, fucking Plymouth, and all sorts on the weekend. It's like, why are you doing that? I live in fucking Kent. Chill out. And it just got too much. It was like one of that. It was the same sort of reason why I left the military in the first place, was because I wanted to spend time with the family, and I wasn't spending time. And yeah, fucking pain in the ass at the end of the day. I was loving it, and then it was like, I'm not really enjoying this anymore.
But again, like with people like talking more about like mental health, like you get that with mental health. Like me and Stu know a lad who was like, we basically.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it would basically
charity walk.
Yeah, we knew a guy who
Yeah.
like. I the first time I sat down with him, I was like, "Oh, you're ex-military, anyway." Yeah. What were you in? Would not answer me, and I was like, "That's a bit odd." But I thought if he's got his own issues or whatever, that might be how he deals with it. I'll look at him. And then I heard him like chatting shit about Stu, and I was like, "He doesn't even know the guy. Like, this is a bit odd." And then,
Never met him.
Never met him.
And then
calling you a cunt.
Yeah, and then
charity event, but I hadn't actually met the guy, and he was gobbing off because I was in the Navy, but not in a banterous way. He was like slagging me off behind my back.
Oh, that's annoying.
I never even met the guy.
You can slag off in a banter way, but yeah, don't attack the person. Attack the service or whatever.
He was quickly found out though for being a fucking asshole.
Because I mean, like for me, like or not.
Semi,
yeah. But he's probably done a little bit, but I mean, you either have. I mean, like we know a lad who basically was in the Marines for a bit, but was dead honest about it and was like, "Yeah, I was in, but I was discharged in training," and I was like, "Fucking hell, all right, and cool." Not asked, but this lad was like full on. I've been everywhere, and we were like, "Yeah, but what were you in though?" He wouldn't tell us. And we were like,
mate, yeah, he wouldn't say.
I took that reminds me. Like, I took a bloke through training for the job that I do now, and I was taking him through training. He was like, "You're ex-military, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah, I did a bit. I was in the RAF Reg." When I say that, I expect to have a little bit of banter back, which is fine. I don't mind that. He didn't say a word. I was like, "All right, cool." That's my first flag.
That's your chest build.
That's my first flag. And then he was like,
"Yeah,
oh, I was in the para reg." I was like, "All right, when did you serve?" And he said like late 70s to the 80s sort of thing. And I was like, "Oh, so you would have done your jumps course when my dad was doing the jumps training when my dad was in." And he was like, "Oh no, I wasn't badged." I was like, "What?" That was the second flag. And then I was like, "All right, so you did P company and what have you as a para?" And he was like, "Nah, I didn't do P company." I was like, "Well, you're not a para then, you fucking idiot." and then he sort of like was stumbling and muttering. I was like, "All right, we got one of these guys. It's cool. I'm just gonna play it a little bit." And I was like,
again, this is again down to this whole pressure thing of being an alpha male, because like I said on our podcast, like I felt overwhelmed by the fact that I'm surrounded by veterans that are like awesome people. It comes with it. You think automatically because they've served, you don't know what they've done, you don't know like what sort of person they are, but the fact that they serve automatically makes you feel like you need to respect that, because they potentially have put their life on the line for people like me and all the other people in this country.
But you got to remember with certain people that make it up. I speak for myself here. I don't know about Andrew and Stu. It fucks you off if they're fucking lying about it.
I get that, but like I said, it's a pressure thing. It might be, but also don't have the purpose or anything going for them, so they
don't make it up.
Want that, but they don't. They've got nothing.
I think what Leigh's trying to say, he's trying to get behind the psychology of why they're doing it.
I don't agree with it. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, because it's fucking not. Like, that's like me saying I'm an Iron Man and I've not done an Iron Man race.
I get it,
but on a much smaller scale. But what I'm saying is again, it's because males don't have purpose at the moment, or a lot of males don't. They don't find their purpose.
He shouldn't be breathing.
Huh?
That's a joke. That's a joke. That was a bit harsh, but I
But
wanted to.
I agree, Leigh. I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. I think this day and age, and probably what you're trying to say, I don't want to put words in your mouth, is a lot of men probably feel like they don't have a purpose,
Well, let's go on
because it's
the beer
almost like
thing.
It
There are a
might
few
be.
types of people that
You might be right. It might be because he doesn't have a purpose, or it might be because he wanted to do it, never did it, and thought he could get away with.
no.
yeah. There's always going to be that.
don't
There's always going to be that.
There might be a bit of that, but I think that he wants someone to think he's done something because he hasn't
Oh,
done something.
he was coming out with all sorts.
Yeah.
But again, because he wants to have something that someone respects him for, like he's done something. Like
Oh,
he's,
if he needs that, then. But it fucking winds me up because. Sure, right. If he's talking to, say, for example, for like yourself, who hasn't served, you'd probably eat that up. Which
fair enough.
yeah, in that sort of thing, he could go, yeah, I was in the Paras, and you'd be like, oh, brilliant, you were in the Paras, well done, congratulations. But if you're talking to someone in the military and they know quite a bit about it, you're going to get caught up, and you're going to be made to look like a knobhead.
Yeah, they are a knob for doing it in the first place, but I'm just
Yeah.
like I said, it's
I
about
get it.
Why,
I get it.
why they want to do it. Like, there's more to it. It's the same.
But
Well,
I think you see similar. I mean, I could be wrong here, but this is my opinion. You see, so when people leave the military, and like you're saying, that you lose like sense of purpose and belonging. You see it quite often with like top tier athletes when they finish doing what they've done. So won a gold medal. Well, what else do you do then when you won a gold medal apart from winning another one? And then that will only go. We spoke about this, didn't we? We're like, that will only go on for so long. Or
yeah, definitely.
And you will achieve so much, and then you'll get to a point where you're like, well, I'm done now. And then when you leave that world, what do you do with that then?
That's why like these athletes and these celebrities turn to recreational drugs, because if you say you've been a top level athlete and you've been at the Olympics, or if you're a pop artist and you've performed.
Leigh, you've gone a bit quiet, mate.
I don't know why. Is that better?
You need to get in the mic so that you then appear on the screen.
Hold on.
There we go.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay, so like a top level athlete that has, say, performed at Rio, got a gold, or a pop artist that's performed in front of hundreds of thousands of people, they're never going to have that buzz again when they finish that. And that's why they're looking for that high, and that's why they turn to things like drug and alcohol. And normal people like myself look at these celebrities or whatever and think, you've got everything, you've got money, you've got like fame, why would you do this? But it's not. It's because they're looking for that buzz, the same buzz that, say, you and I get from sending it off a cliff or whatever. Like,
yeah, man.
That's what they're looking, but on a much higher level. And that's what I think that they're looking for, and that's why they turn to those escapism.
Definitely, mate. And you get the same sort of thing with military personnel as well. Going back to military, I do apologise to those. I've always said it's not a fucking military fucking podcast, but it's easy to talk about. And you find that you get certain members of certain regiments that have been in a lot of firefights and things like that, and they enjoy the buzz of that. It's the adrenaline rush, and when that goes, it's like, what next? And then you tend to find that they get a lot of issues after that, and this is why you get quite a few suicides within the military itself, is because they haven't got the ability to recreate the high. And what they may need to do is find other avenues to help these veterans to one, understand what is going on with their head, why they enjoy these adrenaline rushes and things like that. And it's another to try and recreate and adapt other things to help with these these issues that they've got in their head. And like you said, like you guys, you go out in the fucking wilderness. That's not easy. Yes, you're not going out and you're not getting shot at, but it's not easy. You could go find where you guys go and the different places within, like, say, the beacons and that. You've got the waterfalls and what have you. You can go and do your fucking cliff jumping and things like that. You can recreate different avenues of adrenaline rushes. You can go and to Brands Hatch up the road from me and drive your fucking vehicle at 230 mile an hour if you've got a vehicle that fast, to try and to get the buzz. And a lot of people struggle not to get that buzz. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie myself. For example, when I took the missus on our first holiday, I saw a bungee jump and I was like, I'd love to do that. She went, go on then. And I was like, all right. And I did it. And, you know, not even thinking about it, I was like, yeah, all right, I'll go up there. I'm a bit of an idiot like that. I've got an ape brain. It's like, I'm going to go and do it because I basically got told to go and do it, and I'll go and do it. It's like cliff jumping. I've jumped off God knows how many cliffs in fucking Malta because I thought it'd be a good idea at the time. And I like the feel of when you're falling, it feels good.
One of our mates jumped off a waterfall the other week and realised it wasn't the best thing to have done.
I bet, yeah.
We were all like, yeah, mate, it's probably best you don't jump off that. Yeah, be fine. Say goodbye to your ankle.
His ankle.
Yeah. That's something I would do. You'd probably go,
me,
Tom,
like,
don't jump off there. Why not? Just don't do it.
For me,
I'll do it.
I love the outdoors because I love, like, my adrenaline sports and stuff. But, like, when I'm out in the outdoors for, like, you know, a week or so, for me, it's because everything strips back and you're away from everything. It's the complete opposite for me. It never used to be, but there's parts of me that I do think this is ace, because I know people who would completely fall apart here in the outdoors. They just wouldn't be able to cope or make the decisions that you have. Because
my missus wouldn't be able to do it, mate.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
Like, some of the decisions you have to make, you know, I wouldn't say the life and death, but they definitely have consequence behind them. So, you know, the having the right decision to turn around and be like, I'll come back. That's hard. I mean, whenever I've had to bail off a mountain, I've been like, I don't like, you know, there's parts because obviously you go there, you invest the time and the effort to go there to do something, and no one likes failure as such. You know, no one wants to give up, but you have to, you know, having the ability to learn the aspect to make those decisions of what is right and wrong effectively about yourself. And I think you learn a lot about you as an individual when you do. So when you go and do your ML and stuff, you have to have solo days. You have to have days that you are unguided on your own. You have to log those days. And when I was doing my training, I did a lot of solo days, more so because I was off work and everyone else knew was in work. I learned a lot about myself in those long sort of like weeks away in like Wales, Scotland, and so, you know, with no one else about. You learn a lot about what your ability. I mean, like Leigh's the same. Like when he says does like, you know, long endurance events, and you learn a lot about you as an individual when the only person you have to talk to is your own head.
Sometimes it's a dangerous place, but sometimes it's nice to just have your own.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it gave me the time to sort of address things that I wasn't happy with, like, you know, in myself and how I dealt with problems. Like, I used to carry, like, a lot of guilt around, like, my father's passing. And it was only through spending the time on my own where I was like, it's fucking mental. You know, like, he wouldn't want that. And it just makes no sense, you know. But then, obviously, on the flip side of that, and then when I took people away, so, like, when I took, like, these guys away and stuff, for me to have gone and got my qualifications to lead people, there's no better feeling than taking people who've never been. So, like, who've never been to the Lake District and be like, mate, look at this place. I'm going to take you today. It's going to be fucking amazing. For them to be that was absolutely amazing. It's like the entire trip, I could have not joined in any of the stuff that we did, but to have had the conversations after, or to see people happy.
It would be brilliant. Like,
it's fucking
Andrew,
real.
Andrew, and all without a wilderness guide.
All of it without a wilderness guide. Yeah. And it was free. You know, there's only a few qualifications that you need, and a wilderness guide is not a qualification.
No.
It's a made-up.
I've never heard of it. Anyway, we digress. But mate, it was awesome, wasn't it? The lake, it was.
I'll
it was
tell you what.
phenomenal.
Last time I went to the Lake District was like 2005.
Mate, you need to come back.
I went to Lake Windermere.
Oh, that's.
I drove past that on the way back.
That to me, that is Lake Windermere is not the Lake District to me. I mean, no doubt.
That's where I went. I was at college. It's not my fault. I didn't choose it.
Yeah.
That's not too far from where we were.
No, it's not. No, I mean,
nice lake though.
There's northern fells, southern fells, and all that sort of stuff. What I would advise anyone to do is, obviously, once they go and sort of see the lakes, especially, is buy the set of the Wainwright's books, Sir Alfred Wainwright, and just pick out a peak in each area and go to each area. Don't have to be high mountains or anything like that. Pick out a peak in each area and do that. I mean, there's I can't remember her name. There's a girl who's bought a few bits from Lakota who's doing the Wainwrights at the moment. And she was like, I'd love to meet up with you guys and do a peak in each area with you. And I was like, well, we'll do it then. We'll go. Things like me and Stu always said that, like, anyone who wanted to get involved with trips out or coming away, or just ask. We're all people. Like I very, very, very rarely charge anyone to be in the outdoors now, just because I can't be asked. I have a full-time job, a little bit like Stu. It's being outdoors now isn't my, it's a qualification, and it's, it could be a profession, but it isn't my profession, and I believe that, you could go there tomorrow, Sean, and do the same walk that I'm going to, I would charge you to do. You might be okay, you might not be, that's why you pay to have an instructor with you. But 9 times out of 10, you could be all right, as long as you've got a good bit of common sense. I think the issue is when people just rock up with nothing and no equipment. That's where the problem is. So, but I also do, search and rescue, and those incidents are far and few between. Sadly, they're the ones that just make the media. And I think I've seen outdoor companies and instructors sort of use that as like a scare tactic of why you need a mountain leader. Well, you don't. You're not taking it. If I take you up a mountain, I'm not taking a child up a mountain. I'm taking another adult. And if I don't deem it safe, I say, listen, mate, it's not safe. We're going down. If you disagree with me, you disagree with me. That's on your head at that moment in time. On your head, be it. That's why you pay for someone to be there. But if you have good common sense, then you will know when is the right time to turn around. Definitely. I mean, like Leigh, you've recently sort of got into, mountaineering and going climbing. Have you paid anyone to take you? Common sense in it most of the time.
The thing is, there are a lot of fucking idiots in the world.
Yeah.
And you do.
There are a lot of idiots in the world, and I fully believe that if we took the labels off bleach that says "Don't drink me," we would have less idiots in the world. That's my thought on that.
I mean, like obviously we look into other regions sort of rescues and stuff like, because obviously there's a difference between a search and a rescue. There's a search is looking for someone who is lost, you might not know they're lost, or has gone missing to deliberately be missing. And there's a rescue as someone is like, I am here or in this area, or come and get me for whatever reason that might be. Quite often, the rescues that you will do, especially in the mountain areas, are people who've gone out ill-equipped, or it's an injury. Now, there's more injury than there is ill-equipped. And the injury normally isn't from ill-equipped people. Like, you'll get there and they'll be in a tent or a survival shelter. They will have done everything right up to the point of you picking up that casualty, packaging them, and then taking them off. It's just the ones that you see on the media. And I've seen them as well. Like, when I was on my qualifications in Wales, it was like February and snowing. We got off to do like a winter mountain day on Crib Goch, and a girl got off a bus, no lie, in a pair of leggings and like hot pants over the top. We all had like ice axes, ropes and crampons, and she went, which one is Snowdon? We were like, you need to get back on that bus. We are dressed like this because of the environment that you will be in. That is not dressed for the environment, and it's a shame.
Sorry to butt in, mate. I'm just going to move rooms. That's why I'm moving. So don't carry on, but I'm just moving, all right?
Yeah. I mean, so that they're the experiences where the media sort of says like, oh, this person was seen in the outdoors with no equipment. They're the ones I think that need like an instructor. But I think there's a lot of people who use it as a ploy to sort of get business as well, and that's wrong as well. So yeah, it's one of them. It's twofold. I think there is definitely stupid people in the world, but there's also people in the world who've got a lot of common sense.
I see it a lot though. Like last time I went up to Crib Goch recently.
All yellow, by the way. What
Yeah, I
sort of
know.
room is yellow?
This is
I like it.
this is why I don't do podcasts in this room.
I'm
'cause
I'm just gonna go
fucking
in
bright.
the yellow.
It looks
Just
good.
all yellow.
It does look good. You look like you work for like some sports nutrition company. I am fitness.
Yeah.
I am.
You
still-
look like you should be popping your ass out saying some sort of quote about life.
Yeah.
That's basically
Yellow.
my Instagram feed, isn't it?
Yellow. What sort of yellow is that?
I don't know. I don't.
Did you paint it?
Yellow.
Yeah, I'm a guy. I haven't got a fucking clue what color it is. It just looks between yellow and gold.
It looks good though, you know.
Yeah, apparently it goes very well with our grey sofa. That's what I get told.
All right, okay, cool.
You should have gone with more of a silvery. But no, we're not getting into this, right?
No, let's not.
This
We
is an
shall
argument
not
that I
digress.
think Leigh will lose if he starts to try and change that. No, it's just been painted. Listen, the lads don't like it. I can see Mrs. being like, I don't care what the lads think.
So they don't know anything
Oh,
about interior
You
design.
say that, right? So I was in a meeting with my manager the other day, and I got a load of texts from the missus. She was at fucking the Range or fucking Home Bargains or something. And then she phoned me, and I was like, all right, I'm in a meeting. She was like, oh, just to let you know, I got some pillows. I was like, you got fucking pillows? Too many pillows, if anything. She was like, that's all right. They're like an odd pink. I was like, what? So now I've got pink pillows? She was like, yeah, in the living room. I was like, all right. Like, the only thing manly about my house is my shed. It's ridiculous. I have nothing in my house.
Shed is pretty cool.
In
I've got a
fact,
man cave downstairs.
my my medals used to be in the house. They're now in my shed. It's like, I was like, why can't my medals be in the house? And she went, it doesn't go with the colour scheme.
Change the frame. Change the frame.
I was like,
Guys, the way I see it,
literally said that. I went, can I change the frame? And she went, nah, just put them in with the rest of your stuff. So, all right, I'll just put them in the shed. And then she goes, right, can this go in the shed? No, it's my shed. Fuck off. I've got a fucking...
the way I see it is my missus puts up with me going off for weekends in the mountains, leaving her here on her own. If she wants to choose the colour of the living room, she can fucking choose it.
Yes.
Yeah,
easy-
I don't have that
easy
option
life.
because I live in Kent, which has
Like-
no mountains.
She supports everything that I do. So if she wants yellow wool, she can have fucking yellow
Yeah,
wool.
it's my
Wants
it's
pink
my
cushions,
wife's
she can have
That's not
my
the-
wife's hobby.
That's like Simpson yellow, though.
No, it's not. It's
It
actually
is.
not. It's darker than that.
It's
No,
actually
just a
Homer
light.
yellow. That's what it's
No,
called.
it's more of a
Homer.
gold.
It's not gold.
You look like you should work in a TRX gym. Like right now, if you had a TRX training video going on, you're like, hi, I'm Leigh. Welcome to TRX.
Welcome to TRX
Go
I
on.
am
with
fitness.
Leigh.
is fitness.
I am fitness, and I'm better than you, and I know it.
What were we drinking? What were we drinking on the weekend? Was it the rain?
No, it was that Huel
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
wasn't it?
cans of rain, wasn't it? From
Oh, that's not
Fuel.
bad, that rain night. I had one
Oh,
today.
it's good
I am
stuff.
fitness.
I had fucking melon fucking something. And I
Melomania.
was like, this
That
is
like,
all sorts
that
of
is my
nice.
jam. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's addictive. Don't have too much of it. You won't-
Yeah, I'm addicted to all sorts of energy drinks anyway. It's not good for me. But in other news,
Yeah, I don't have many, but when I do now, it's that.
Leigh, I heard you're really good at picking wine. Is that true?
Yeah, I am. It's not too bad. But I've got a friend who owns a wine cellar, a South African wine cellar,
Fair play.
and he produces some of the best red wine I've ever tasted. But yeah, I love a nice Malbec or
You look
Or
like you
like
should be
the
drinking
Pinot
wine. It goes with your
He was
voice.
drinking it last weekend.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
we were
whenever the
smashed. We
lakes
polished
was.
off five bottles in 2 nights.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
That's not bad going.
No, it was good. It was a good trip. It was fun.
Do you know? Last time
It was
I
good
was
stuff.
on the podcast with Andy, I polished off like a bottle of whiskey. I don't know if you knew that. And I keep calling you Andy. Apparently, you don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
does
yeah.
that
I
to
mean,
you.
No, it's Andrew. Whenever anyone used to call me Andy as a kid, my mum used to be like, it's Andrew. And I was like, fuck, so it's kind of like stuck. But I also answered to Mark as well because I'm a twin. And people, when they meet up with me, they go, hi, Mark, you're right. Never remember me for some reason. So,
you know what? It's because he's better looking, mate.
Right. I'm not even a twin. Right. I'm not even a twin, but apparently I look a lot like my brother, even though he's fucking uber brown. And people come up to me and go, "You right, Darren?" It's like, nah, not Darren. He's 4 years older and brown. Different face.
See, like, I thought about having a whiskey tonight, but I've got to go to work tomorrow. But I was going to polish it for cigars.
I've got to ride my bike.
I was like, I thought there was no way I'm smoking a cigar in the bedroom. I thought that is. I got
the shit the other day.
Not yet.
One of my last podcasts, it must have been when I had you on, and I had far too many whiskeys. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to stay in the shed for a bit. And I smoked a couple of cigars, and my missus was like, why are you smoking cigars in the shed? And I'm like, because my fucking shed. I'll smoke a fucking cigar if I want. I was pissed at the time, obviously.
I think
normally I'd be like, "No, I'm sorry, I won't do that."
I don't have cigars often, but I do have one. I do appreciate it. I think that's another thing that I think with the masculinity thing. There's a lot of people. If you don't want to smoke, then don't smoke by all means. But I do think every now and again a gentleman should definitely have a cigar or a pipe.
And a nice whiskey as well.
Yeah, I think these are dying traits in the day and age.
Yeah, I've got my little box. They're not that nice. So I've only got a few left. So I've got my little box of cigars in the shedio.
There is something nice.
Do you smoke any cigars? In fact, how often?
Not anymore. I did
not anymore.
Years ago, but I cannot stand smoke. It's disgusting.
I'm the same.
Really?
Yeah, hate it.
But how cool do you look if you have a cigar, though?
I don't think you look cool. I think you look like a knob. That's just my opinion.
Right, that's
fucking
it,
rude.
I'm not your friend anymore.
Right, I just think people in this day
we used to be
age
best mates, but now I don't think we can.
Mate, I'm with you, Stu. It depends on the person. They can make it look good, but on the most part,
yeah, cigars look kind of cool, but smoking in general, I don't.
No, I agree there. I'm not a fan of smoking as such.
Yeah, same. I don't like smoking, but I don't.
A cigar is in my head. I'm fucking uber wrong though. It's different. You don't.
I feel it is. I mean, I think if you have one every now and again, it's a little bit like if you don't drink wine and you have a glass.
Yeah, no, I can see the appeal.
To be fair, I only have a cigar on a special occasion, or if I'm pissed on fucking whiskey, and then I'll go, fuck it, I'm having a fucking cigar because I can. But normally it's on a special occasion.
It's like a 45-minute worth of burn time of the ones that I last had. So I'm like, a 45-minute smoke is a long time to sit with somebody.
The ones I've got in the shedio, they're all right. They're quite easy to smoke. I prefer a thicker one though, as does most men if they like it thick.
It does honk. I mean, I've got some new cigars coming in a few weeks hopefully. But my friend Matt, he was injured on tour. It was Matt who got me into smoking cigars. He's got quite a collection, and I went to London to see him once. And he went, "Do you want to come to Boysdale in London?" And I was like, "Yeah." And that's like a whiskey cigar bar where you can buy smokes and smoke them in there and that. And that was probably one of the manliest bars I think I've ever been. It was fucking well cool. Everyone's like, we'll have a Churchill sofas and people bring you like you smoke and they're like, would you like to smoke this? It will go with this whiskey. And I was like, yeah, go on then, yeah. And they pair your cigars to your whiskey in such a way. I was like, this is fucking awesome. But it's also like the most expensive bar I think I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, how much was it? Well, how much was a whiskey there, the smoke?
So, I can't remember the last time we went in, it was about 300 quid and we were there for a couple of hours between us. But like, so whiskey in there is like priced as whiskey would be priced depending what bottle you get and where it's from and all that sort of stuff. So that's fair. You pay a fee on smoking cigars in there, obviously, because you can only smoke ones in there that you've bought there. So it's a little bit like corkage. So you pay a fee to smoke a cigar there. But then obviously they vary in price from like 20, 30 quid to over 100 quid a smoke, I think the last ones I had with him, I think were about 70 quid. a cigar, 70, 80 quid a cigar.
Jesus.
But obviously, it's not something I do all the time. So if you do it every now and again, then, you know, to me, it's a nice treat. You know what I mean? Everyone's got their fix. You know, that's mine.
Fair one.
As a great man once said, I am fitness.
25k.
25k.
25k. So this is the opposite. So like Mark, he won't smoke a cigar at all, and doesn't do whiskey either. Like
He's fitness. He is fitness.
He's fitness. I think it's because of his profession, obviously, because he's paramedic. He sees, you know, the worst end of things like smoking and drink, and you know, so he's very much like, no, it's not for me. But you know, I'll mold him. I'll teach you. I'll bring you around to the evil twin ways. You'll have some.
Andrew, I really think you need to publish the KFC video, or at least send it to me to publish, because that video needs to go online again. I think that's one of the best videos I've seen in a long time.
That was the result of working in like a corporate office all week, with him being like, you might be made redundant, with my mate who's ex-Navy, and that was a week's worth of shit basically, and being in an underpaid, understaffed job, to then leaving work to slamming. I think we had 2 or 3 packets of Strike Force each, so it was like woo, caffeine, and we were going away. So see, for me, I can't post that video because it's just fucking mental. But it was funny though, to be fair.
It's brilliant.
I don't even know how I ended up with that video, because I think it was like a Snapchat story that someone recorded and was like, that was fucking well funny. These are the things when people are like, oh, you should write a book. And I'm like, I'd quite like to write a book. I quite like the idea of having, you know, published a book. But there's stuff in it, I'm like, fuck, once it's out there, you know, you can't bring it back.
There's no chance getting it back.
The bits that I want to leave out of the bits that race, you know, the bits that I'd leave out would be the bits that people would find funny, but
Mate,
I don't really know.
Some of the stories that we had on the Lakota trip deserve to be in a book, that's for certain.
We should do we'll do a couple of trips. Do you know what would be cool? Like, obviously, we had Sam do obviously the cinematography and stuff like that. We should have Sam do like a shot of like, you know, who is Lakota or who are Lakota.
Well, to be honest, that's what we were kind of planning on doing.
But we all got fucked up.
Spoke about it, but we'll do it on the next one. Like, he was like, I want to interview each person and then put it in a video.
I think the next one, we should go to Wales, I think, for the next one. I think we should go and hit Snowdonia.
Yeah.
Am I invited?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Do it. More the merrier. That's what we did last time.
Get amongst it.
Stays. I mean, how long will it take you to get to Wales, Stu? It took you 6 hours, did you? So like
4 or 5 hours, I think. 4 hours. Not a lot.
Yeah,
it takes me about 4.5.
And if it's just me, I can always drive to Leigh and then we can go together as well, because I'll be going via.
Because we'll be sharing a tent together anyway.
Big time. That one-man tent.
Yeah.
Where are you, Stu?
A struggle snuggle.
Sorry.
Oh, you're not too far. I'm Kent.
I'm not too far from you. I'm junction 6 off the M25.
Oh, you love it, don't you?
So, you know, just past Clackett, if you know services.
Clackett Junction.
Clackett services, great place, mate.
Yeah.
Right, lads, I'm gonna have to bow out, lads.
Yeah, me too.
That's no problem, troops. To be fair, we have been going for some time, so.
We have.
I don't even know how long.
Thanks for having us on, dude.
Yeah, boys, it's been a pleasure.
Fucking anytime. That was an epic chatteroony. Loved it.
We'll do it again. Spin some more shit dits.
Yeah.
Take the piss out of Leigh some more.
Yeah, that's standard though, isn't it? So if we all go to Wales, we'll just do a live one.
That'd be cool.
A campfire.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Via a phone.
Awesome. Right, guys, love you lots. I will speak to you.
There it is.
Speak
See
to you
you later,
soon.
lads. Have a good
Bye.
one. See you later, Andrew.
See you later, mate.
There it is.
Happy days. So there we have it. Team Lakota on the Granite Zero podcast. Again, cheers for Stu, Leigh, and Andrew coming on the show. It was fucking brilliant. Cheers again. See you later, guys.